Imagine you're weeks away from a major war with your biggest enemy. Do you spend the next weeks laying on the couch, watching TV, going on long walks, and feeding some geese? No, you spend your next weeks preparing your weapons and, most importantly, planning your battle strategy. So then this leads us to the question, how do we prepare and, most importantly, invest in response to the Great Reset? Hey guys, what's going on? Daniel here, one half of the Kwok Brothers. Now, last week we made a video covering the Great Reset and how it actually may be approaching and happening before our very eyes here in 2021. Now, of course, this leads us to ask, well, if that's the case, how do we first then respond and also invest with the Great Reset approaching? So in this video, I'm going to be covering my top 3 strategies in terms of what to invest in with the Great Reset coming. Now, guys, having said that, I'm a fellow entrepreneur and investor. I'm not an investment advisor. Before we go ahead and get to that first strategy, I want to ask you guys to please like and share this video. It really helps us out with the algorithm. And of course, we want this video being watched by as many people as we possibly can because, well, the truth of the matter is the more the masses are made aware of what's going on with this Great Reset and with this agenda, the more the power will go to the people as opposed to the global elites that are looking to push this agenda even more and more this year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hit the first out of the 3 main investment strategies that I believe will be very effective during the Great Reset. The first strategy being investing in land near high growth areas. Now guys, do you remember last week's video when we talked about how one of the most integral parts of the Great Reset taking place and taking hold is the Federal Reserve's ability to print unlimited amounts of money. And we use the analogy of chess and how this is like playing an opponent who has unlimited amounts of valuable pieces. Well, to follow this week's analogy, this is very similar to fighting an opponent, to going to war with an enemy with unlimited amounts of foot soldiers. So what do? How do we defeat an enemy with unlimited foot soldiers? Well, think of it like this. Imagine if you and I were on the same side and we were facing 100,000 men. And our army, our side, we only had 1,000 men. And we are completely outnumbered 100 to 1. You would probably say, well, we lost this battle. We're going to lose this war. Well, what if I told you that the battle was actually being fought in the ocean and we were the only ones that had battleships? All of a sudden, the dynamic of the battle completely shifts, giving us an extreme advantage. Because how do we respond when we're playing a game where we're at a complete disadvantage? We change the game completely. The fact of the matter is they can print any amount of money that they want. They can print money until the point where a cup of coffee costs $200. But guess what they can't print more of? It's land. And last time I checked, God isn't making any more earth. Now here's another aspect of land investing that I really like, which is that in the midst of high volatility in the stock market, artificial boosts in the housing market, and well, a lot of uncertainty and unpredictability around the cryptocurrency market, the very nature of investing in land helps mitigate your risk. So maybe this means finding, a local market near you and buying up land near high competition, high growth areas. Now, maybe this means finding a local market with growth and investing in land nearby high competition areas. Now, having made this point, this leads us to actually point and strategy number 2, which is to invest in tangible assets. One of those being cash flowing real estate rental properties. Now let's think about this from this video's analogy of war. One of the biggest shifters in combat is psychological warfare. And better yet, the biggest advantage that you could have over your enemy is if your enemy is in complete disarray or better yet, divided. And well, historically speaking, times where markets experience a lot of volatility, disarray, and correction, well, this is around the time where the rich get richer and more powerful, while hardworking Americans and small business owners like you and I usually get the short end of the stick. As a matter of fact, in 2008, between pension funds, life savings, 401ks, and asset value, the American people lost approximately $5.6 trillion. Now, here's my question is, where did that money go? Did it just disappear? And while we're on this topic, guess who got bailed out with taxpayer money? And well, guess who didn't? Now, why do I bring this up? Well, it's because usually during times where markets do experience high volatility, disarray, and correction, the best assets that you can invest in, and also the ones that are best performing, are usually tangible assets that also happen to produce cash flow and produce income. One of the prime examples being cash flowing rental real estate. As a matter of fact, if we look back again at 2008, we'll see that the multifamily housing rental market actually performed better than it did the year beforehand. And with cash flowing real estate, you not only invest in something that's very tangible that you can actually feel, touch, and see, but it's also backed by one of the 3 basic human needs, which is shelter. And if that's not enough, you also receive cash flow and also tax benefits in the form of depreciation. And the big cherry on top is that even if the market crashed and the value changed and the values dropped, let's say even 50%, the apartment building and the multifamily complex would still produce the same amount of cash flow. Because if I were to ask you the question, well, do you care if an apartment's worth $500,000 or if it's worth $2 million? If it's producing the same amount of money for you every single month, chances are you really wouldn't care that much about the value of the property anyways. So last but not least, let's go ahead and hit our third and final investment strategy for responding to the Great Reset. The third one being investing in companies that greatly benefit from the Great Reset. Let's go back to our war analogy here for a second. Let's say that the head of intelligence comes to you and says, "Sir or ma'am, we've received word that the enemy is receiving large shipments of ammunition, supplies, and resources." Wouldn't you want to intercept those shipments? Wouldn't you want even just a little bit of those shipments that the enemy is receiving? Now, another great way of looking at it is imagine if you had the ability to travel back in time right before the pandemic occurred, and you had the ability to invest in any company that you wanted. Now, it's no secret that the pandemic has greatly benefited some companies in certain industries such as e-commerce, grocery stores, and tech, who grew astronomically because of the pandemic, whereas other sectors and industries such as hotels, shopping malls, and also restaurants, just to name a few, have suffered greatly because of the pandemic. To just give you guys an idea, some companies that thrived during the pandemic, NVIDIA, a multinational tech company that helps with graphic processing units, increased their revenue 46% 9 months compared to the 9 months before during pandemic times. Same time frame, Amazon experienced the revenue increase of 35%, Facebook 17% increase, Netflix 25% increase, and the list goes on and on and on. So considering that we would have all invested in these companies a mere year ago, had we known about the pandemic, what's to say about us right now with the Great Reset approaching? So if we know that the Great Reset is not only inevitable, but actually may be happening before our very eyes sooner rather than later, well, this brings the conversation in addressing the question, why not financially benefit from it? Why not invest in companies like Microsoft or media outlets or other big tech companies that seem to be benefiting from the Great Reset occurring? And also, why not invest in people like a Bill Gates, who seem to be advocating and pushing for the Great Reset a little bit too much, in my opinion. Now, guys, I'm sure there are plenty of other things that I did not bring up in this video. So if you have ideas, thoughts, or general comments, please let me know in the comment section below. Now, having said that, if you are an accredited investor and you want to take advantage of these strategies that I mentioned in the video, but you want to do it more passively, our contact is also in the description below. And if you made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you, comrade, and I salute you. And of course, don't forget to help us spread this word, guys. Make this aware to as many people as we possibly can by liking this video and sharing it to your friends and family. And of course, while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. I'll see you guys in the next one.